Wow, wow, wow. Wow. The Pacers. What just happened? Calling them the Pacers is inaccurate. The air quotes Pacers go into Minnesota. They had lost 4 of 6. They were missing Pascal Siakam for the first time in over 100 games. Tyrese Halliburton was out. Aaron Nesmith was out after scoring 30 points 2 days ago. Miles Turner was out. Johnny Furphy was out. And they beat the Timberwolves. What? Andrew Nembhard was playing good. He got ejected in the third quarter. Benedict Mathurin was hitting some huge shots. He fouled out in the fourth quarter. The Pacers won. What? The Timberwolves entered the day leading the NBA with an 8-game win streak. They made the conference finals last year. They're good. Anthony Edwards has been hooping. He had 38 points in this game. Julius Randle hasn't lost a game he played in since January. The Pacers won. What? What a crazy game. Pacers win in Minnesota 132-130 in overtime. Shorthanded. One of the most against the expectation wins I can remember in my time covering the team. A Kiefer Sykes-led group won in Golden State when Steph went crazy with 38 like this in 2021. I still think that's probably above this slightly. But this was unreal for a Pacers team that was not reeling, right? That's a stretch. They had won 5 of their last 10. They had routinely been bouncing around about that mark, but it had some head-scratching performances, certainly of late, getting blown out in Chicago, 2 losses in Atlanta. They just lost their most painful game of the season. Like, the vibes are not bad at all, but not nearly at peak forms with a month left of the season. This is a huge, crazy game for the Pacers. They started Obi Toppin, Jarris Walker, Thomas Bryant, Ben Mathurin, and Andrew Nembhard. Nembhard, the only starter who routinely starts that play. The other 4 are bench guys. And the bench has been a disaster for the Pacers recently. They stunk in their game against Milwaukee 2 days earlier, right? So not a lot of confidence in the Pacers to get this one done. Many tweeted at me before the game and said, they're punting the game. I can't argue that, right? If they have a lot of nicked up guys, they can't play them, they're not going to play them. Their bench was going to be TJ McConnell, Tony Bradley, and Ben Shepherd, right? That's, I guess, a normal enough bench to survive a game. Tony Bradley played very well. But we'll talk about him later. That was going to be the rotation. Then Nembhard gets ejected. His first tech very early in the game. No one knows what happened. With that, I presume it's something he said to the official if it happened from that distance away and with no obvious action. The second one, he gets ejected in a moment where Rudy Gobert just decks him after he got... So the full sequence is Andrew Nembhard pops Mike Conley in the jaw by accident on a drive. Rudy Gobert doesn't like it, so he just smokes Andrew Nembhard. It was going to be a flagrant for the contact anyway. It was deemed unnecessary, so Rudy Gobert gets ejected, and that was his second tech on Nembhard because after the foul, he threw the ball at Gobert. Okay, Gobert's a better player, like a more impactful player, but given the context of who was available for the Pacers, pretty easy to argue that actually favored the Timberwolves. And at the time, the Pacers were ahead, and Minnesota won the rest of the game on the scoreboard from that moment on. That was a big loss. Ben Mathurin had 22 points on 17 shots, hit 7 free throws and 3 threes. He was a very important scorer. I actually put in my notes, Mathurin's the most important player the rest of the way, right after Nembhard's ejection. Lots of stuff. I've setting too much scene. I'm not even describing the best moments of this game for the Pacers. Lots of stuff that said, the Pacers are going to lose. And everybody would have been fine with it. It was a close game for a long time. They were ahead at times in the fourth quarter. They kept answering and fighting back. Like, even in a loss, very rarely is there a moral victory for a good team. This would have been pretty dang close for the Pacers. Instead, it's a real victory. And Obi Toppin is the why. We'll get to lots of other key players and sequences in this shorter video. Obi Toppin averages this season, entering today, 9.9 points per game. Now he's over 10. 2 seasons in a row at over 10 points a game, right? He averages less than 12 points. I bring that up because he scored 12 points in overtime alone. And I really want to get more specific and say he scored 12 points in the last 3 minutes of the overtime. It was just unreal. The Pacers with 15 points in OT, all of them from front court threes. Obi Toppin with a key one with about 3 minutes to go to cut it to 1. Then on the very next possession, he hits one from the right wing, both assisted by Ben Shepherd, by the way. And it felt like this, after those first 2, which were huge shots, it felt like the backbreaker came via a Mike Conley banked in 3 that gave the Wolves a 3-point lead with 2 minutes to go. Mike Conley's 3 was so off that Pacers play-by-play announcer Quinn Buckner said, "Oh, that's a brick." It was a brick. It was so much a brick that it actually bounced into the basket. And that 3-point lead for Minnesota gets to 5 after some Anthony Edwards free throws with 1:06 to go. That was one of many moments where the game felt over. And again, it would have felt fine for the Pacers to lose in overtime given who was available, but they didn't give up. Thomas Bryant, a very quick three, his only three he made of the game and his most important shot of the night. Pacers get a stop via Anthony Edwards missing, and then Obi Toppin's turn to steal the magic and voodoo for Mike Conley. He banked in a three from the top of the key, gives the Pacers the lead. Anthony Edwards gets fouled, deservedly. Quentin Jackson got him in the lane. Pacers are trailing with 19 seconds to go. Obi Toppin on a pass from TJ McConnell in the left corner, very similar to Tyrese Halliburton's less than a week ago, fading away, hits another three with 4 seconds to go. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Obi Toppin hit 4 threes. 2 are standard ones that he can make and does make sometimes. 1 banked in, crazy one coming off a handoff at the top of the key. And 1 fading heat check ice. They get the stop on Julius Randle on the final play, and they win it. Unbelievable run from Obi Toppin, who hit 7 threes. That's a career high for him, and made 12 shots in the game on his way to a Pacers high 34 points. He had a double-double. Fantastic game from Obi Toppin. TJ McConnell hit the shot at the end of regulation that tied the game. Pacers, again, like lots of stuff that felt like they blew it. They got a 3-point lead with a minute to go after Toppin scored. They double inexplicably up 3. I get doubling Ant at times, not in the moment they did. They give up a 3 to Jaden McDaniels. And then Jarris Walker, who did some good stuff in this game, inexplicable turnover, and he fouled in an 8-second moment. Pacers a 3-point lead. There goes from that to down 2 in a flash. But TJ McConnell gets to the rim with 5 seconds to go after some head-scratching misses in the game. He got that one to go. That got it to overtime. It took a lot of battling to fight back to that point. They were down 5 not long before that. It was just an insane game, highlighted by the Pacers getting clutch plays from guys who are having up and down nights, the heater of his life from Obi Toppin, and everybody who played contributed, right? Toppin's obvious. McConnell had 13 assists in the game-tying shot. That's obvious. Nembhard had 12 points in under 20 minutes. I talked about Matherin's big shots. Jarris Walker's huge three. Thomas Bryant's huge three. Jarris Walker made 3 threes and had some okay defense on the perimeter on Ant, although some forgettable moments as well. Ben Shepherd with 6 assists and 6 boards. He helped out Tony Bradley on his second 10-day, playing real rotation minutes for the first time in over 2 years with 12 points and 9 rebounds. He was awesome. Enrique Freeman comes in for 0 seconds of real time, is chosen to pick free throws after the Nembhard ejection, makes them both in a 2-point win, and Quentin Jackson gets thrown in after 2 other guards get removed from the game and goes 4 for 6 with 13 points and scrappy defense. That's what it took. The 2-way, 10-day, end-of-bench brigade goes into Minnesota and gets it done. Huge win for the Pacers. A lot more details on this game on Locked On Pacers tomorrow. See you guys there.